My name is David Tran, and this is LuxTV, shedding and spreading light for the chiropractic student. We have chiropractor Dr. Barry Anderson in Chicago, Illinois. Dr. Barry has been in active chiropractic practice for 21 years. He is currently running a very successful $1 million practice after playing hockey and hanging out with his dog. He is the co-founder of Everest Coaching Systems. Dr. Barry, welcome to LuxTV.
It's good to be here, buddy.
Yeah, thanks. So let's get straight to it. I recently attended your awesome Chicago one-day event, so thank you so much for supporting students. But
Sure.
Why is it so important for students to learn how to close?
The close is everything. You know, chiropractors they're wonderful at presenting. They do a great job of having someone come in and presenting. Well, maybe they don't all do a great job, but presenting the argument that people need care, that they need chiropractic. But then when they get to the point to where the person actually has to say yes to you and actually has to pay you, it's almost as if most chiropractors will go into a retreat, which is a shame because you're bringing them along to understand the value of what we have. I mean, we do have the greatest healthcare product in the world, so we might as well get it out there. You know, we're seeing 2% of the population, and 20 years ago we were seeing 2% of the population, and 40 years ago we were seeing 2% of the population. We're not getting any market share or any market traction. We're not leaving any type of a footprint in healthcare. We're actually, if you really look at it, we're actually going backwards. And the problem is because we don't know how to convince people that they actually need our care. We, as chiropractors, are terrible. When I say salesman, it really offends a lot of people a lot of times. But you have to understand, guys, you're selling from the minute you wake up or you're being sold to from the minute you wake up to the minute you go to bed. There's never a moment in your life that you're not selling. So what you have to do is you have to take a moment to think about what is it as chiropractors that we're selling. We're selling to get you off of drugs. We move you closer to health than you've ever been. And most importantly, we save people's lives. And as students, you have to understand that, and you've got to start believing that we save people's lives. And the one way that you know we do that is by keeping people away from the medical doctor. Because, you know, if you look at what's happening in medicine, the amount of drugs being prescribed is raising exponentially. But the disease rates are not going down. The disease rates are also raising exponentially. So if medicine was the answer, then we would see a decrease in disease rates, and it's not happening. So what we have to do is we have to realize by someone seeing a chiropractor, you can get them off of those drugs. You can actually save their life. Well, so by saving their life, you're selling an amazing product. But if you don't get to the point to where you're closing them to buy from you, then it doesn't matter. All you're doing is sharing information. And if they don't buy from you, what they'll end up doing is going to their medical doctor for an opinion, and you know what his opinion is. Don't see the chiropractor. Chiropractic is dangerous. Here's a drug because this is super safe. And that's what's happening in the community. And you know, you guys aren't out in practice yet, but you'll see when you get in practice, one of the most frustrating things you'll come across is where someone will come in, they're a patient of yours, and they'll say, you know what? My medical doctor said I shouldn't see you anymore, so I'm going to stop. It's terrible. It's just, and you know what's going to happen with this patient. This patient is going to go down the typical medical route, and they're going to be on drugs. They're going to have a low quality of life. They're going to have side effects, and they're actually going to die sooner because of the side effects and everything that goes on with those drugs. So the close is everything. You've got to be able to share your message with the lay person so that they want to buy from you. And I think that's one of the problems in the profession is we're wonderful at sharing the message with one another. We can talk the tick and talk the spiz and talk chiropractic with one another, but we already have all bought into it. The problem is we don't know how to share it with our communities, and that's the trick. And so if you can get the community to start understanding what it is that we actually offer a patient, they'll buy from you, they'll close, and you'll save a life. So the close is everything. It doesn't matter how much you know. It doesn't matter what your grades were. None of that matters if you can't get them to buy your care from you. And that's, I guess, my take on the close. Did I answer that okay for you?
Oh yeah, 100%. And you know what I took from that answer was basically not only like you're learning how to close and make a sale and generate revenue, but then you're also saving someone's life. So that's a bigger picture.
Well, and I think that every time someone comes into my office as a new patient, whether for the day one or the day two, every time I look at a patient sitting across from me, I'm thinking, if I don't close you into chiropractic care, then what I'm doing is I'm closing you for medical care. And by closing you for medical care, I'm actually speeding up your opportunity to die. And so when someone's sitting across from me, I look at it a little differently maybe than others do. But then 94% of the people who step foot in my practice, they close into long-term corrective care because it just means that much to me. I just cannot close people for the medical community. To me, it's unacceptable.
Yeah. And, you know, like in your introduction, I can mention that you have a very successful $1 million practice. And being in school, it sounds like I'm talking about unicorns because, because it seems so far away. So what does it take to build $1 million practice?
It's funny. It's unbelievably easy. What you have to do, and one of the things that I teach in the boot camps that we do, is how to reduce to the ridiculous. And reduce to the ridiculous is how everybody out on this planet sells you things. When you go buy, let's say you're buying an $80,000 car, they're not going to tell you you're buying an $80,000 car. What they're doing is they're saying, depending on what your down payment is, for as little as $500 a month, you can have this awesome car. When you go and you buy a $900,000 or $1 million home, they're not saying you're buying a $1 million home. What they're doing is they're telling you you can get into this house for $2,000 a month or whatever your payment would be, and that reduces to the ridiculous. So when people say, well, how do you get $1 million practice? Don't think of it as $1 million practice. $1 million is a huge number. $1 million can be almost where some people would think, well, I could never do that. That would be humanly impossible. So what you must do is you've got to reduce to the ridiculous. And what that is this. If you want $1 million collecting practice, this is all you need to do. 28 new patients for the month that close. They've got to close. For $50 a visit, which is peanuts. $50 a visit is less than I currently charge, but $50 a visit for 60 visits over the lifetime of their care. That's it. The magic formula is 28, 50, and 60. And now that doesn't seem as difficult, does it? Now to get to $1 million, geez, how hard is it to get 28 new patients? It may be hard, when you're in student clinic and those types of things, but when you get out in the real world and you actually know how to market, have you interviewed Glowacki yet?
Not yet.
Okay. If you end up interviewing Dr. Glowacki, the new patient maven, you'll find how easy it is to get 28. I did a workshop Thursday night. I did a 30-minute talk, and I signed up 18 new patients. Wow. In 30 minutes. So it's not that difficult. I was talking to a guy yesterday who's coming to our next boot camp. He gets anywhere from 50 to 80 new ones a month. I mean, so it's not unheard of. So again, the magic formula, 28 new ones for $50. $50, I mean, $50, you can spend that in like a half hour at a bar, right? Yeah. So if someone to give you $50 to save their life isn't a big deal, and they have to be around for 60 visits, and that's the part as a student that might freak you out because you're taught not to hang on to people. You're taught as soon as they're out of pain, get rid of them, or if they're not better in a week or two, get rid of them. And understand you're learning that from people that aren't successful. Yeah, that's why they're teaching you. They're not very successful. Because if you look at the science, I don't know if you guys have read any or seen Dan Murphy or any of that stuff. If you look at the science in terms of what it takes for soft tissue to heal, it's 12 to 18 months. Just look up the physiology of repair. The physiology of repair will tell you 12 to 18 months for soft tissue to properly heal and proper alignment. And how are you going to do that? You can do that with chiropractic care. So when someone is telling you treat them 5-6 visits and anything more than that, or 12 visits, anything more than that is overutilization, they're absolutely 100% lying to you, and they're not following what the literature states. It's in textbooks. It's in Guyton physiology. It's in everything that you need to know. You need to treat past the resolution of symptoms, and that's where 60 comes in. And just because someone doesn't have symptoms doesn't mean they're better. Right? I mean, think about it. It's when the guy goes in to get his heart checked, and all of a sudden the heart surgeon says, well, we've got to do a roller rooter and clean all 4 of these out. Did he feel everything clogging? He was subclinical. So just because you get someone out of pain, all you're doing is getting them subclinical. That's not better. That did not move them closer to health and wellness. All that did was you took them from a place of acute distress to subclinical. Well, shit, man, you can give them an Advil to do that. They don't need chiropractic for that. So it depends. So you have to understand, you have to hang on to these people because you're doing more for them than just palliative feel good. Because if all you want is palliative feel good, then hand them over a bottle of Advil and be done with it, and it's cheaper than you. So if you want $1 million, 28, 50, 60. That's all you got to do, and know how to close your patients. Really, if you want the $1 million practice, you have to do a boot camp, but I'm not here to plug that. So that's what you do.
Yeah. And like, I hope everyone has like a pen and paper, because that's some valuable advice for sure. And lastly, what is the greatest advice you could give a chiropractic student other than going to a boot camp?
Understand, well, I got so many ways to go. Well, not to get everyone mad, but first of all, forget everything you learned at school. Unfortunately, they teach you to not be successful, and it's a shame, because we should be paid for what we do. But outside of that, understand why people will buy from you. People are not buying chiropractic. What they're buying is they're buying your service and your attitude. That is 100% why people buy. Unfortunately, many people get out of school and they get into this profession and they think people buy because of price. And what they do is they lower their price. And we see that in this profession. We see the $12 adjustment. We see the Come Unlimited care for $500 a year. What that's doing is it's devaluing our product, because there's no real or perceived value when you're giving your care away. And a lot of coaches out there teach just get people under the umbrella of chiropractic, and that's all you need to do. And that's not true, because what that's doing, again, is devaluing the product. And if we can't value our own product, how can we ever expect the populace or anyone in the general population to value our product? It's impossible. So the most important thing I guess I would tell you is, don't think people buy on price, because that's not why anybody buys. Everyone watching this, not one of you has bought something based on price. What I mean by that is, let's say, like for me, I'm useless around my house. I don't do like woodworking or anything like that. So if I was in a Home Depot and someone wanted to sell me a saw, and it could be the greatest saw in the world, and he can say, here's the greatest saw in the world, and you can have it for $2, I wouldn't buy it, because I don't have the use of a saw. Because a saw, it doesn't take care of any problem that I may have. And so I would never buy it. And so no matter how low the price is, don't think that's why people will buy from you. Charge for what you do. People buy because they see you as a solution to their problem, or they absolutely love what you have. So by learning how to sell this product, they'll see you as a solution, and they'll pay you for what you're worth and what you deserve. So please just understand, it's your service and attitude that they're actually buying from you, but they must see that you're a solution to their problem, and they'll pay you, and they'll stay with you, and they'll refer to you, and you'll have an amazing life. So other than forget everything that you learned in school, I'd go with that.
Oh, wow. And that's some amazing advice, kind of dispelling the e-myth where, students believe that they can just graduate and expect to be successful. Yeah.
I know, unfortunately I went to National, and I don't brag about that, but at National they told us just hang a shingle and they will come. That is 100% not true.
Yep. And fortunately there's people like you and Dr. Glowacki, Dr. Dan out there to set up these seminars where students can go in and learn the niche areas where they're deficient in, and that's what I love about you guys, for sure. So thank you. Yeah. So thank you so much, Dr. Barry, for sharing with us. If you want more information about Everest coaching systems, or want to connect with Dr. Barry directly, check out the links below. Every week, I will be uploading a new interview with another giant in the chiropractic profession. If you like this video, please share it with your classmates, give this video a thumbs up, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. My name is David Tran, and this was LuxTV, shedding and spreading light for the chiropractic student.